Been 3 weeks since we went live, and that's completely up to you guys if you want to send in some questions. One of the biggest questions that I actually get asked is what it's like to be an agent. Honestly, on a weekly basis, I get asked that. Charles, is it fun? Is it exciting? I see this TV show. It's called $1 Million Listing. It's only like one of the biggest shows on TV, but is it really like that? You follow around these three guys. First of all, the show is for entertainment. Okay, so you're really seeing a small portion of what actually happens. You actually see just the fun part, because you're not gonna see Ryan or Freddie just pushing the paperwork or hitting up people, because that's how they actually get their business, or emailing or prospecting or writing notes or things like that. So because of the show, there's been a massive influx across the nation on real estate agents. There's probably, I don't know the actual increase, but I do know after 5 years, there is a turnover rate of 87%. 87%. So only 13, so almost 1 in 10 people actually survive. 99 out of 10, they're gone. And the reason they're gone is because they're kind of sold a bill of goods. They're sold a bill of goods that they're going to be trained properly, that they're going to have the right systems, that they're going to have leads, that they're going to know what's going on, and that there's going to be no fear involved. There's going to be no putting yourself out there, that it's going to be super easy. And for me, I was so ignorant going into it, because this was 2009, before the shows, and I remember just taking my license. I was like, all right, I had a bunch of sales background, with Cut Go, which is, calling. I know my mom's watching this and she's going to be like, yeah, you called all my friends in the address book. I'm really sorry, but got to do what you got to do when you're in college, and you got to sell some knives to your friends. So I did Cut Go. I was a caddy, which is very interpersonal. I was a waiter at the OG Olive Garden. So I loved the people. I was good at sales, but I didn't really have the aspect of the systems, the actual money, taking care of the finances. I didn't have a ton of things going into it. But you kind of either learn or you don't. I go back to this story a lot. A lot of people ask and they say, what was the turning point when you said this is it? Because you're going to reach that point in your career. It could be after a month, it could be after a year, or it could be after 10 years. Something happens in your life, whether it's financially or health or relationships, where you literally sit down and you're just in your mind and you ask this one question: is this right for me? Is this the right industry that I should get into? And to be honest, for me, that moment happened. So I joined Halstead in 2012, I want to say. So I was at Platinum Properties before, and I really wanted to get into sales. So I said, okay, let's look at all the big companies. And I literally door knocked. And I went to Corcoran, Edelman, Brown, Harris, Stevens, Sotheby's, Halstead, and I went to all the offices that I would actually want to work for. And I only had I went to probably 20 offices, and I only had 3 callbacks. And I kept on calling. Finally, I got one with Corcoran, one with Halstead. I'm glad I went with Halstead because the training manager was great, the people that I met and everything else. But there was a moment that, so I got hired by Richard Grossman. He's now the president of Halstead. And he approaches me after 6 months and he says, hey, listen, it's quite obvious. You already know your numbers and we need to talk about it, because in real estate, there is no biweekly paycheck. There is no insurance. There is no 401k. There is no pension. There is no holidays or anything like that. You literally are an independent contractor. You are an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. So he pulls me into his office and we go over the numbers, and I said, yeah, I don't know what it is. And he said something that was very interesting. He said, I thought that you would be way further along and I had higher expectations. And when he said he had higher expectations, that really hit me, because I did as well. But for someone else to say that, which was kind of believe in me, and he says, listen, if you don't produce a certain amount of money, which was close to almost $200,000 in 6 months, which was the most money I ever made at that point, and if you don't produce that, then bye. That was the conversation. And it was the right conversation, because I was taking up a desk. That desk could be filled with someone else. So then I had to go and I had to literally share a desk. And I know I've told the story multiple times, but then I went out and it was a hot July day. And I went outside and I just was I was zombie mode. And I was really down. I didn't have the money. You know, there's just a lot of things going on in my life that was just, I needed to be fixed. And this was clearly one of them because of the money issue and everything else. So I remember walking down the street, which was on Broadway, 13th, between 12th and 13th, and the sun's beating down. And you ask that question, is this right for me? Is this the right industry? And you literally make the decision. It's very binary. It says, no, I'm gonna go to safety, which is a job that someone pays you, you know what you have to do, you're being told what to do, and you're gonna go up the corporate ladder. It has the 401k, it has the health insurance, it has the dental, it has, you know, vacation days and everything else, and it's safe. Or you literally continue going down the path of, I can't do that, I don't wanna do that. And that happened with me. So the three things I'm about to talk about is things that you need to do when you join the industry. However, I'll tell you right now is if you don't do it, then you will be asking that same question going back to these three things. So number one is sales. If you're not good at sales, you're not gonna make it. It's a fact. If you can't influence, if you can't convince someone to do something, if you're uncomfortable actually asking for terms in a deal, if you're uncomfortable trying to get a lower price, if you're uncomfortable trying to negotiate and you're really a nice person, it's not gonna work out. Because this industry is all about asking for a little bit more, doing what the client doesn't want to do. That's why they're hiring you. They're saying, this is the closing date I want. This is the price I want. These are the terms I want. I want the chandelier included. I don't want any of the things that are on the wall right now, even though they're built-ins. You have to have that uncomfortable conversation. So that's all about softening what your client wants. On the other side, the owner says, I actually want to live here another month, but the buyer wants to move in. So that's all about sales. That only takes practice. That's not something that's overnight. That's not like a financial book that says, here's the profit, here's the loss, here's the revenue, here are the expenses, make a spreadsheet, a P&L spreadsheet. That's financial. That's something you can easily learn. You take a class and you just learn it, okay? Sales, totally different. Marketing, you could learn. It's all about marketing. And prospecting, okay? So prospecting is the most uncomfortable thing, as I literally stutter on that, is the most uncomfortable thing for real estate. That includes asking for referrals. That's going for new business. That's telling people at a party, I am proud and confident to be in real estate. I want your business. I literally just got an Instagram message from someone that, you know, we've been going back and forth. I met her many years ago and we just stayed in touch, and she said, do you know anyone that does real estate? And it was, you know, it was a funny emoji afterwards. I said, no, but I heard it was a pretty cool industry. So it's one of those things that if you are uncomfortable, the sales part is something that you could do in person. You know, Brian Buffini, he talks about it and he says, giving that necessary nudge. You know, where someone's on the borderline and they're like, I don't know if I should move forward. I don't know if I should accept the offer. I don't know if I should put in an offer. I don't know if I should sign the contract. I don't know. You know, you have to give them that necessary nudge, which is emotional, but you have to justify it with logic. So giving that, how do you see yourself in 10 years? What about when your children grow up here? What about when you have your home business out of here, you own it? What about the tax? What about when you're, I don't know, making a ton of money because you're investing in it, or you flip it upside down and it looks beautiful because you just renovated it? That's number one. Number two is, and along with the logical reasons. And there's also something that came to mind is, I don't know where I heard it from, but it really stuck with me, is that most people are scared and they're tired. You know, they're scared of making a decision, especially in a residential situation, because you're spending $1 million, $5 million, $10, $100 million on a big deal. Okay, number one is they're scared. They need someone. They need that necessary nudge, and that has to be you. Number one. Number two is they're all tired. They're tired of either going through the process, tired of seeing homes, tired of, you know, just should I do it, should I not do it, talking to the bank, talking to the attorney, talking to the co-op board, going through the board process, you know, oh my gosh, we have the interview coming up. I have to bring my dog a doggy interview. I have to bring my kid a kid interview. What kind of garbage is this? I have to put money in escrow. So they're all tired and scared. You are literally the sponge. You're not the mirror. The mirror is, they complain and everything else, and you just reflect all of that back. That's not good advice, okay? You have to be the sponge. You take it. You trust me, there will be times where you get a lot of criticism. You get a lot of people emailing and texting you. They're frustrated, especially in this marketplace. I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow. We're going to be covering the actual July residential report, which is totally different than the rest of the year. And right now it's a buyer's market, and it literally flipped upside down within 2 months. I would say within the last month and a half, because we put a ton of homes in contract, and then the buyer's market just happened. A lot of people are away. I'll talk about it tomorrow, but you have to be there steadfast. You have to be that not only that statue that is willing to take all the bullets and all the criticism, all the complaining, all the frustration of people that are going through their own life things. You have to be there and be like, you know what, this is fine. So those are really the three big aspects. People, literally last week, someone's like, can I grab coffee with you? Can I, let's grab a 15-minute call. And this video was just in the works. So that's the practical ways. People ask, oh, how do I get business? Or what are the scripts you use? Or that's all over the internet. That's Googleable. It's easy. Past clients, friends, you just talk to people, for sale by owners, expireds. You canvas, you use social media. There's tons of ways to actually get business, but people just don't want to do that. So there's the prospecting, there's the marketing, and then there's the sales. And then I'll just add in the other things, which is if you are fine with uncertainty, then you'll be fine in the industry. You'll be fine in the industry. I'm not going to say you're going to thrive, but you have to be understanding that there's uncertainty within not only per deal, but per offer, per contract, and then on the macro level, that my income went really well, and now it's down here because you stopped doing what you were doing to get up to here. Then you flatline, and then you get frustrated, and then you maybe go on vacation, you start spending money, and then you start going down a little bit in your finances, and then you have to prop yourself back up. I'm not going to say it's an exhausting job, but it's a pretty exhausting job. If you're fine with that, it is so fulfilling to be at a closing table of a deal that was so challenging, or a client that needed to move. And for retirement purposes or for financial purposes, and there is nothing better than that, honestly. When they look across the table and you just see it in their eyes, they're super excited. The buyer is a first-time home buyer. We just had a closing on Friday, and it was a first-time home buyer. And there's nothing better. She was super excited. She was heel clicking on her way out. She was talking with the broker. She's like, we got to take a photo, and just giving them the keys. It's so fulfilling. That's what you see on TV, but you don't see everything before that. You don't see that I went to the board with 5 circumstances to hopefully get this deal done. I got a no. I said, what about this? No. What about this? Maybe. I said, okay, great. Let's work on that. And then what if we do that and this? They said, And I said, what if we do that in this? And they said, yes. And solution oriented is everything, but nobody sees that. They just see the photo of me talking with the client or the video or things like that. So just understand it's more challenging than you think, number one. Number two is it's very fulfilling, but there are very, very high highs and very low lows that happen almost within an hour. And I'm not saying like, holy cow, Charles, you're a hero. No. Or anyone in real estate, you're a hero or anything else. I think I'm just trying to align the expectations of what you see on TV and how it actually is. It's kind of like you see someone that's really fit, but you don't see them going to the gym every single day and saying no to sugar and carbs and saying yes to water instead of Coke or saying yes to water instead of drinking. Nobody sees that part. They just see the end result. They just see the loft that they got. They didn't see the pitch. I have a pitch at 1:30 today. It's a referral within the building that I already did 2 other deals with, and I'm going in like I'm not getting it. I'm going in that there is competition because one of the homes that we have on the actually not only in contract, but hopefully we have a board interview soon, is they came to me and they said, we actually interviewed blah, 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 which is a top team in New York City, and I still beat them out. I still beat them out because I said, look at what I did to your neighbor. That's the results I'm gonna do. And you put yourself on the line. So I hope this helped out a little bit to all the people that are thinking about getting into real estate. So BPIU is all about, obviously, the agent-centric. I never had any of this. I approached a ton of brokers, and nobody wanted to give me the time. Actually, one of the brokers gave me the time, but they didn't really give me anything. So I had to just do all the research. So just marketing, sales, influencing, which is essentially prospecting, and then just be okay with the certainty. Tony Robbins, I don't want to bring him up, but he has an unbelievable quote. He said, to the extent that you can handle uncertainty is how successful your life will be. To the extent that you can handle uncertainty in your life is how successful you'll be. And it's true. If you can handle a ton of uncertainty, which is you have to pay out of pocket your health insurance, you have to save your own 401k, your own IRA, you have to save for obviously taxes, you have to have obviously your expenses, your marketing, there's a lot of things going on. You know, it's up to you. I love it. It's not meant for everyone, but I think that's a pretty good realistic understanding of what it's like once you get licensed. And then I'll go into other videos. I don't want to go into everything, how to choose a broker, how to make sure that it's good for you. What about the manager? What about the marketing? Should I go for a high commission? Should I go for a low commission? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave your comments below. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the July market report, and we're back. You know, we're back. We just hired a content person in California that's going to be writing up these videos. We're going to be building out a blog. We're going to be really punching hard into that because we noticed that Street Easy, they're the ones that people look up the listings. They don't come to Boatenston.com. They don't go to Corcoran or Halstead or Brown Harris Stevens. Yeah, it could be a portal, but everyone in New York City uses Street Easy. So I said, why are we competing with Street Easy? Why don't we compete on the content side? You know, after almost 10 years, I'm on 9.5 years, almost 10 years, I have a pretty good understanding of most of the deals. There's a lot of things that I'm learning, and there's a lot of new regulation, especially with taxes and banking, with attorneys. There's a lot more paperwork coming from the state and licensing, but those are things you just learn. But other things with actually getting in there and putting yourself out there, those things are not learned. Those are only through experience. It's kind of like a vacation. This place is beautiful and you see photos, but you're not actually experiencing the white sandy beaches or the beautiful cathedrals or things like that in Europe. So have an awesome day. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I hope this was a little bit helpful. I'm actually going to send this to the 3 or 4 people that actually inquired about, you know, obviously talking further about it. And it's not about anything being rude. It's just if I gave everyone 15 minutes 2 times a week, it's a lot of time after a while. So 1 video should be enough. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you tomorrow.